get success. So this type of word we are using in our daily life, that by chance or may possible. So probable thinking, the predicted thinking, we can use anytime. But if we want to be in a qualitative or quantitative numbers, if we want this in a particular specific number, if we express these all things in mathematical way, that is called probability. So by definition we can say that probability is a quantitative measure of likelihood of a given event's occurrence. The event that are occurrence that are, if we express them in quantity, that is called probability. It expressed as a number between 0 and 1. Remember that always probability is always between 0 and 1. Not less than 0, not more than 1. So that is probability. Now students, we will discuss some terminology related to the probability, that is experiment. What is experiment in probability? An operation which gives some well-defined outcomes. An operation which gives some well-defined. Here the word meaning well-defined, it means the event that we can define properly, that are called well-defined outcomes. Now experiment, we have two types of experiment. First one, the random experiment. What is the random experiment? An experiment whose outcomes has to be among a collection of possible outcomes. An experiment whose outcomes has to be among a collection of possible outcomes which are known. The experiments which are all known, from which the outcomes that are possible are called random experiment. So student, in that way we can express the random experiment in our probability. Now outcomes, students. What are outcomes? See, possible result of an experiment are called outcomes. If we toss a coin, what we get? Head or tail. These are the outcomes. If we throw a dice, what we get? The face of the dice. Either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. These are the outcomes. So, possible result of an experiment is called outcome. Now, equally likely outcomes. The outcomes which can be occur on the equal. Say, if each outcome is as likely to occur as the other. If we toss a coin, it may head come, it may tail come. So, head or tail, they both can come. They both are equally likely outcomes. Now, favorable outcomes. The outcomes which ensure the occurrence of an event are called favorable. They are ensured. Suppose if we throw dice and if we want only the even numbers, how many even numbers in dice we have? 1. How many total outcomes? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 faces we have in a dice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in which we have 2 is an even number, 4 is also an even number, and the last one is 6. So, what are the favorable outcomes? If we want even numbers, so 2, 4 and 6. If these numbers we get, so these are the favorable outcomes for us. So students, outcomes, possible result of experiment. Equally likely outcomes. If each outcome is as likely to occur as the other. And favorable outcomes, the outcomes which ensure, outcomes that we want the occurrence of an event are called favorable outcomes. count completely. So how it can be more than one time? So see students, in that way we can say the probability of an event not less than 0 and not more than 1. Now students, in the theoretical approach we will work on playing cards. You all very well, but it's my duty to inform you once, that is how many cards we have in the playing suits. That is 52 cards, 26 of red color and 26 of black color, and then 13 hearts are there and 13 diamond. See, this is kind of heart, this one in the shape of diamond. Clouds that are also 13 which are of black color, that is this type. Okay, and space also. Okay, so students, in that way we get the playing cards. Now example students, 2 coins are tossed simultaneously. It means after one after. Find the probability of getting exactly one head. Okay. So what are the all possible outcomes? So we will write here all possible outcomes. What are the all possible outcomes? See, it may both are head, one tail. First one is tail, second one is head, or maybe both tail. See students, so 1, 2, 3 and 4. So number of all possible outcomes are 4 and favorable to event. Favorable outcomes that are exactly one head. So here, in which we have 2 heads and in this we have 1 head. So favorable outcomes are 2 which are head and head tail. So students, what is our formula? That is P of E. Probability of E is number of favorable outcomes upon all possible outcomes. That is 2 upon 4, and the simplest form, that is 1 upon 2. 50% probability we have. So in that way we can understand this topic, that is probability